So, the Chinese government, they're trying to control us all. You don't believe me? It's happening right now. I'm going to show you exactly how it's happening. There's a guy called Pavlou. He was first on my radar back in 2020, actually. Where are we? July 19th, 2020, 60 Minutes did a segment on him. So let's have a look, and we'll talk about what's happened to Drew since. Here we go. 60 Minutes. I'll leave a link up yonder way, and you can watch the full video, but I'll just play the introduction.
Bashed by pro-Beijing thugs, targeted by death threats, branded an enemy of the Chinese state, all for sticking up for human rights. It seems inconceivable this could happen right here in Australia, especially to a 21-year-old student staging his first ever protest. But when Drew Pavlou dared to hold a gathering in Brisbane that was critical of the communist regime, he instantly became the target of a disturbing campaign of violence and intimidation designed to shut him up. What's worse, rather than support him, his own university has demonised him, raising serious questions about Chinese money and how deep Beijing's influence goes.
So there we go. So what actually happened? I'll just show you one little bit. Is it right here? He actually gets attacked by some Chinese thugs. Let's have a look at this.
Foray into political activism last July. His protest supporting democracy in Hong Kong was attacked by communist thugs.
That's crazy.
I truly believe that the violence on that day was organised.
Taking Drew from humble undergraduate to an enemy of the Chinese state.
They aren't students, and further on he actually talks about that. I won't do too much here because I've got a lot to cover. Is it just here? Let's have a look.
Because there were like 12, 13 of us, and there are suddenly 200, 300 people around us on all sides.
Whoa. So this is in Australian universities. I don't know. Now this is worldwide. This is going to. I don't know whether you guys are getting the same thing, but there's a lot of Chinese influence in the universities. They put a lot of money into it. This all happened because the Australian government defunded the universities, left a big monetary hole that had to be filled. So universities started bringing in international students, and of course higher fees and everything for them, and so they prefer the international students because they pay more money to go to university.
When police arrived, the crowd scattered.
No, this isn't Beijing, guys. This is Brisbane. Was it Brisbane, wasn't it? Yeah.
Drew's mother Vanessa was shocked by how her son's peaceful protest had made him a target for such ugly violence.
Crazy. So what's happened to Drew since? So this they talk about lawyer. I'll leave a link, as I said, up over there, and you can have a good look at this. It's 25 minutes worth, 60-minute segment back in 2020. So he's got a lawyer involved in everything. A university was sticking up for the Chinese. They didn't want to have Drew in the campus anymore. So let's have a look at Drew. So this is what's happened to Drew recently. I don't know whether it's made worldwide news, but he got arrested in London. And these are the circumstances from his arrest. He's allegedly, the Chinese embassy in London reported me as a terrorist for peacefully protesting outside. UK police arrested me and held me for incommunicado, which means, he couldn't communicate with anyone. So no one knew where I was. I was inside for 23 hours. I want to go home, miss my family, but they threatened to arrest me at the border. So this is just a couple of days ago. They actually, get this, allegedly, the CCP, that's what Drew alleges, made up that he sent an email saying that he was going to bomb the embassy in the UK, Chinese embassy. So it's totally crazy. Here we go. Where are we? Blah blah blah. Here we go. He's going. This is 16 hours ago. I just received some death threats from CCP supporters. Instagram name Kalishi 1994. And he's saying, I hope they rape you to death in prison. You thought you could bomb my embassy. Your neck should be snapped. Guess what? The party got you. Long arm of the party. The CCP is coming for you. That's pretty crazy stuff. So let's have a listen. He's got a little clip running here. Let's have a listen to it.
Death in prison. You thought you could bomb my fucking consulate? Suffer, burn, mate. Burn. Burn. I hope you fucking end your life. I hope they rape you to death in prison.
That's crazy stuff, man.
Your neck should be snapped. Your neck should be fucking snapped. Well, guess what? Party got you. Party got you.
So this is so saying my embassy. So obviously it's a Chinese expat because he's got a British accent. You can hear the British accent. I won't play any more of that. It's a little bit too raw for YouTube. But what I want to do is I want to go back a few days because here we go. This is what got my interest. He said, I just recorded an interview with Lisa Wilkinson on the project, really hoping my comments would be aired without editing. And we all started laughing because everyone put the comments here. Read the comments. Basically, we all knew that, hope you recorded your side, because we all knew that there was going to be a hash job here, hatchet job. It's the project. I wouldn't trust them to accurately report the weather. So who are the project and why wouldn't you trust a project to accurately portray basically a segment criticizing the Chinese government? Well, you've got to do a bit of digging, and that's what I'm good at. And I'll show you why. As people don't really know. I've put East Channel 10 owned by Paramount. Whoops. Basically, 10 Holding Network, which is the network that the project's on, is a media company in Australia, headquartered in Sydney. It's major asset Channel 10, a free-to-air television network. All sounds good so far. Formerly a public listed company on the Australian Stock Securities Exchange since December 2019, which basically coincides when we think they went really, really left. It has been a subsidiary of Paramount Networks UK and Australia. You think, oh wow, Paramount Networks, yeah. American company, surely. But then you have to dig a bit more. Do Chinese own Paramount? So this is in Reuters. Viacom Inc.'s Paramount Pictures will receive a $1 billion cash investment from two Chinese film companies, Shanghai Film Group and Hu is it? Hu sounds like an owl. Hu Media. Giving the US studio much needed cash and supports as it attempts to grow. So basically, they're buying influence. So it runs from the US and it runs all the way back through Australia, and they're influencing the media. This is what the CCP are doing. They're pushing money into our media corporations. We see it again with Top Gun Maverick. It says here, Top Gun fans being banned, Top Gun faces being banned in China over Taiwan flag. Because what happened was, I'll show you this. This on the Daily Mail. So what happened was there was a bit of an uproar. It probably went unnoticed a lot. So here it says in the 2009, I'll see if I can zoom in a bit more. So it says here in the 2019 trailer, the flags of Taiwan and Japan were removed from Maverick's leather bomber jacket, but have since been restored. Right, so they bent to the CCP and removed because Japan, they had a war with Japan, back in, was it World War II? Yeah. And you can look up Nanjing Massacre and everything. They really got totally done over by the Japanese, and they've never forgotten it. And of course, Taiwan, we all know about Taiwan and the sensitivity of Taiwan. So they sort of curtailed to the CCP and removed the patches off of Maverick's jacket. But then they reinstated them. And of course, Tencent is a major, here we go. But when the film was released last week, fans were relieved to see the Taiwanese flag being restored, with one scene even featuring a close-up shot after Tencent Pictures reneged on their promise to part finance the film. Oh, that's interesting. So they didn't do it out of patriotism. They actually did it because Tencent pulled the finances out. So That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad from Hollywood. I thought I was under the impression they were doing it because they were being patriotic, but they reinstated the thing as a bit of a fu to Tencent and saying, "Oh, okay, you're not going to finance the film. We'll put the Japanese and Taiwanese flags back on." And of course, as you can see here, you've got the Taiwanese and Japanese flag here, and apparently it was shown in Taiwan, and as soon as they saw the Taiwan flag on the back, they just erupted in applause. And this is what I heard. So yeah, here we go. Here we go. Exactly what I was saying. During an advanced screening in Taiwan, audience cheered upon seeing Taiwan's flag appear on Cruise's jacket and applauded several times throughout the film, according to a report from SETN. Wow. So there's a lot of politics going on here, guys. You know, a lot of things behind the scenes. I'm very aware of it. I'm trying to make you aware of it too, because this is very important. Like they are like clamping down any sort of dissent from the West. Any like just ordinary citizens like Drew. Drew here, he's just wanted to support Hong Kong, Taiwan, and he got targeted by the CCP. So let's go back. So knowing this, that Paramount is put $1 billion into Paramount, and Paramount owns Channel 10. The project is on Channel 10, and we all knew that. We all knew that Drew was not going to get a fair chance on the project on Channel 10. The project, dangerous place, is too much for me. Why with her, with Lisa Wilkinson? Oh man, you're playing with fire here. Now we all warned him. It's a project, so expected. He was a bit naive here, thinking it was going to go well. So this is from the project. Let's see how it went. You tell me if this is biased. There we go. Let's zoom in a bit. Here we go. Oops, sorry.
Allegations. An Australian arrested in London over hoax bomb threat allegations claims he's been framed by China and mistreated by police.
So it's good that they admitted that he was framed by fake allegations. Sounds promising. I thought it was going to be a good interview.
Activist Drew Pavlou was detained while protesting outside the Chinese embassy. He was held for nearly 24 hours after the embassy reported a bomb threat from an email address matching his name. Drew says he's been set up and that he was denied consular assistance.
Man, if you watch the 60 Minutes interview, I'll put it up. Where are we? Up over there. I'll put it up over there. Watch the whole interview. You'll see this guy's a pussycat. There's no way he's threatening violence. No, he's a peaceful protester. He's just got his little signs. You see him, he's never violent, never hits anyone or anything. Even when he's been attacked, he didn't even fight back.
During his arrest.
Drew joins us now from London. Drew, talk us through what happened when you were arrested.
So that's Rachel Corbett. She's a total lefty.
Thanks so much for having me on. When I was arrested, the police handcuffed me very tightly behind my back in a sort of stressed position. They were acting as though I was some kind of violent threat. It was only after I'd been detained for about 3 hours that I was informed that...
You see there, all he's got is a free Tibet. He's got a free Tibet sign, and they're just lashing him, just trying to tear his sign. It's crazy, man. This is nuts.
After I'd been detained for about 3 hours, that I was informed that I was being accused of making a bomb threat. And at that point, I was just absolutely shocked. I thought they were joking, and I was asking, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And they said the Chinese embassy reported an email to us. It had your name all over it. The email said that you would blow up the embassy today. I wasn't able to contact a lawyer. I wasn't able to talk to anyone on the outside. I wasn't able to tell my family where I was. No one knew where I was for hours and hours. They interviewed me at 4 a.m. when I was exhausted, without my lawyers present.
This sounds like this is something that would happen in China. We're becoming proxies for China, basically. This is like, who's sticking up for this guy? This is a Western guy, Western citizen, Australian citizen, in London, another Western country, one of our allies, They're doing bugger all. They're believing that these stupid allegations. It's crazy. This is just nuts. This is real. This is no joke. This is what's happening. He's going to be like a test case to see if they can scare everyone into not speaking up against Beijing and the CCP. This is nuts.
So it's a nightmare situation.
The Metropolitan Police actually issued a statement saying that according to your custody record, you were offered legal advice and a duty solicitor was called at 8:22 p.m. Are you saying that they aren't telling the truth there?
Yep, absolutely. They're just simply lying to the media, because I requested multiple times to talk to my solicitors. They were saying none of your solicitors are picking up. When I was actually released, ultimately, my solicitors told me we were on the phone well past midnight. We were up all night trying to get through to you, and they kept on saying we can't put you through. So the Met Police are just straight up lying.
That's crazy. So they're basically trying to push him to the edge. You know? So please share. I am sharing, Drew. I'll send you a message saying where I've shared it to you. It says, my interview at the project, the Chinese embassy in London set me up with a fake bomb threat email. UK police handcuffed me in stress position, held me incommunicado for 23 hours, interrogated me with no lawyers present at 4 a.m. When I was exhausted, I can't leave UK's police, threatened to arrest me at airport if I try. Police seized my phone, forced to hand over PIN without my lawyers present, saying I could face 5 years sentence for obstruction if I didn't give them access to my phone. Repeatedly brought up fact that bomb threats carry 7 years prison sentence as intimidation tactic. That's nuts. These are all allegations, of course. So, and I can't remember this guy's name. It's not Tommy Liddy, it was somebody else. I can't remember who. Tom Cashman. I knew it was another Tom. So what's Tom got to say? This is another part of the interview. So here you go. He goes, what a disgrace. UK police held me for incommunicado for hours. We know about that. Falsely reported me as a terrorist. UK police interrogating lawyers, blah, blah, blah. Watched the project host Tom Cashman asking whether I deserved it for being provocative. This is where I'm thinking Chinese influence is coming in to the project. They're not taking his side. The project didn't air full exchange from pre-recording, but Tom repeatedly sought to paint me as a racist by misrepresenting my past protests against the Chinese government. He kept calling me a provocative activist, what I deserve to be in a cell because I peacefully but loudly oppose a dictatorship with 1 million Uyghurs in concentration camps, a dictatorship that tortures the family members of friends and endorses violent attacks on myself and my family. So what's Tommy have to say here? Oh, sorry.
You're deliberately...
Sorry about that, guys. I've got to put the bloody speaker on every time.
Drew, some pretty big accusations there. You're deliberately provocative with your protests in the past. You've held up
He's not happy, man. We warned you, Drew. We warned you, don't go on the project. You didn't listen, did you?
signs in Eastwood in Sydney, a suburb with a large Chinese-Australian population, saying F Xi Jinping. These are high-profile tactics that are designed to get a lot of exposure and be provocative. Are you surprised that it backfires on you like this?
Let's not both sides this, mate. I'm a peaceful human rights activist who's been targeted by one of the most powerful governments in the world. On one hand, there's a peaceful activist who loudly voices a criticism of the Chinese government. On the other hand, a Chinese government that goes after activists relentlessly, brutally, that targets their families. I have Uyghur friends with family members in concentration camps because they've protested in Australia. So let's not try both sides this.
Drew, what were you originally planning to do at the embassy?
I wanted to hold a small protest at the embassy, a peaceful protest, obviously. I had a Taiwan flag, I had a Tibet flag, I had a Uyghur flag. I was a bit silly. I wanted to glue the Taiwan flag to the gate, but that has nothing to do with a bomb threat. This is just a complete fabrication. The Chinese embassy have invented an email. It's signed Drew Pavlou. It's absurd. It says, this is Drew Pavlou. There's going to be a bomb threat today, regardless.
That is just nuts. Oh, yeah. Let's incriminate myself. Who the hell sends a bomb threat signing their own name? Hey, this is me. Come get me. It's totally fabricated, in my opinion. This is my opinion here.
It's Drew. I mean, it's just insane. I can't believe the British police believed it for a second. the wording of the email is stilted. Why on earth would I put myself through this terror, this stress? I mean, it's just an absolute lie.
Drew, thanks so much for talking to us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Well, you sold your soul to the devil, didn't you, the project? What sort of support is he getting? That's why I'm making this video. I'm disgusted. You don't see the walrus very angry very often, but I'm absolutely disgusted. I'm holding back big time. There's so many things I'd love to say. It's just absolutely disgusting. That's the best way I could put it. So here we go. And he's got Nelson Mandela up there. So this is pretty bad. You can read that. I won't read it out loud. Here we go. So this is 20 hours ago. The evidence all points in one direction. Not one direction. Don't pick on one direction. Anyway, the London Chinese embassy was involved in sending a fake bomb threat email in my name. How did they know exact time I was going to arrive at the Chinese embassy for my peaceful protest? Tracking him. They've been tracking him. They've been tracking him. So that's all he had. He had free Tibet, free East Turkestan, free Hong Kong. Wow. They find a little symbol like that very threatening, don't they? So here we go. 20 hours ago. Guardian Australia has confirmed other human rights leaders have received fake Drew Pavlou emails in recent days. Major news organizations confirm a victim of a coordinated smear campaign. I firmly believe it's the Chinese government. Please share everywhere. Luke de Pulford, a London-based human rights campaigner, said he had received a flurry of emails purportedly to be from Pavlou, including one referencing the recent removal of tariffs by the United States on Chinese imports. Kevin Carrico, senior lecturer in Chinese studies at Monash University, confirmed he had been receiving emails from a Gmail account purported to belong to Pavlou as far back as 2020. Well, what a coincidence that is, because the 60 Minutes segment was July 19th, 2020. So that's what triggered all this, isn't it? He has received 3 emails from an account this month. So they're ramping him up, painting him as some crazy person. 18 hours ago, just want everyone to know I'm totally and completely defiant and unbroken. There we go. Oh, the Uyghurs have turned up. There we go. So the Uyghurs have turned up saying, keep exposing them, Drew. We hope the international government, especially Australian government, will act. I do too. I do know some people in the Australian government. If nothing gets done, I will intervene. Yes. They picked on the wrong person. If you want to come after me, man. You'll be very surprised who I know. Very, very surprised who I know. Anyway, I won't talk about that. I'd love the little Chinese trolls to come after me. We'll find out exactly who I am. What's this rubbish? Looks more Arab than Australian. Yeah. This is Drew's saying that somebody's posting racist comments on his thing here. With the Chinese government, its supporters sending me utterly deranged death threats saying I hope I'm raped to death in prison. Please know if anything happens to me, I will never ever hurt myself. If something happens to me, it was a CP. Yep, I totally believe that. This is sounding really crazy here too. So this is 5 hours ago. For the past several days, unidentified individuals have been turning up at my residence in London, filming the residence, taking photographs of the door in the flat. I'm receiving death threats from CCC supporters saying you're fair game because you're in the UK now. I feel completely unsafe in the UK as human rights activist against the CCP. I generally felt safer when I was volunteering inside Ukraine during the first weeks of the war. Whoa. This is insanity. I just really want to go home to my family in Australia, but UK police won't let me. This needs to get thrown out of court, that's for sure, if he ends up in court. Hey, don't end up like Julian Assange. Well, yeah. So this is the latest one, 1024. So let's have a listen to this one. What has Drew said?
It's Drew Pavlou. I'm 23 years old, from Brisbane, Australia. I was holding a small human rights protest outside the Chinese embassy in London. The UK police arrested me. They said the Chinese embassy had reported me as a terrorist, as a bomb threat. I was so shocked. I've always been a peaceful protester. They held me in a cell for 23 hours. I wasn't allowed to talk to a lawyer. They wouldn't let me talk to anyone on the outside. No one knew where I was. They've made up this email claiming that I sent in a bomb threat. It's just absolute insanity. Why would I throw away my life like that? I'm a peaceful protester. It's just so shocking. I miss my family. I can't leave the country. They're threatening to arrest me at the border. I've done nothing wrong. I just wanted to peacefully protest. And the Chinese embassy have invented this narrative that I'm a terrorist. It's insanity.
Totally. My opinion, I totally believe him. You know, as I said, watch that. I'll leave the link there. Watch that 60 Minutes interview. You'll get a great sense of who Drew is. Totally peaceful guy, man. He's no way in the world he would have any threats or anything. The guy doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't fight back. Let's have a look at. I'll show you. So this is. I think that's Drew there. All right. So this is Drew here. You watch. He does not fight. He's peaceful, man. Have a look.
That day when Drew came home and he was obviously hurt, I mean, how did you feel seeing?
So let's see if we can find some more footage of the protest. What he's involved in. Let's have a look here. So he gets his sign ripped out of his hands. You can see this very clearly by the guy in the red backpack.
Since his run-in with pro-China communist thugs
He pushes him.
Jason.
Bugger off.
The government has just given him
$7,000
towards his new solar system.
last year. He's grown in confidence and become a global critic. Since his run-in with pro-China communist...
That's about all he did. He pushed him. After he ripped the sign out of his hand, and he pushed him. That's about as violent as he got.
Since his run-in with pro-China communist thugs last year,
and then he turned away. If he was violent, he would have got stuck into him. I wouldn't say what I would do, but I'm just going to say it wouldn't be exactly the same as what Drew would do. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I don't have a flight response. I got a fight response. There's two responses: flight or fight. I got a fight response. I don't flee. Let's have a look. Which made me a good cyclist.
China separatist activities.
Are you Chinese?
Being a separatist in China is a crime carrying the threat of imprisonment.
I thought that the statement, by endorsing the behaviour of the people who attacked us, is patriotic.
So yeah, he's peaceful, man. I'm telling you. You can make up your own mind, but yeah, watch the interview. This guy is not violent. He doesn't do threats like that. He just holds up his little signs. He's more into awareness than anything. I do not believe what they allege he did is correct. That's for sure. All right, guys, this has run way too long. So yeah, do yourself a favor. Go see. Really, that way. Because it's opposite. It's just this mirror image. I'm going to point that way. Go see. It's almost like dink, dink. Go see the 60 Minutes interview. It's very, very interesting. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Share this around as much as you can because Drew needs some help here. This is going to affect all of us. It's not. This Drew is just like the pointy edge. What do you call it? The tip of the spear. It's just gonna happen all the time. Like the fact that the UK police are even holding him, man, they're not helping him, and this is going to affect all of us. We won't be able to speak out about anything soon. I'll be surprised if this video stays up. To be quite honest, we'll see what happens. If it doesn't stay up, I'll do little segments of it, and I'll tell you that it hasn't stayed up. YouTube will not take this video down. That's for sure. Okay, like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. See you next time. Cheers.